The Church of the Nativity is a basilica located in Bethlehem, West Bank. The church was originally commissioned in 327 by Constantine and his mother Helena over the site that is still traditionally considered to be located over the cave that marks the birthplace of Jesus of Nazareth. The Church of the Nativity site's original basilica was completed in 339 and destroyed by fire during the Samaritan revolts in the 6th century. A new basilica was built 565 by Justinian, the Byzantine emperor, restoring the architectural tone of the original. The site of the Church of the Nativity has had numerous additions since this second construction, including its prominent bell towers. Due to its cultural and geographical history, the site holds a prominent religious significance to those of both the Christian and Muslim faiths. The site of the Church of the Nativity is a World Heritage Site, and was the first to be listed under Palestine by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. The site is also on UNESCO's list of World Heritage Sites in Danger. History. 1st century holy site. The holy site, known as the grotto, that the Church of the Nativity sits atop, is today associated with the cave in which the birth of Jesus of Nazareth is said to have occurred. In 135, Hadrian is said to have had the Christian site above the grotto converted into a worship place for Adonis, the Greek god of beauty and desire. A father with the Church of the Nativity, Jerome, noted before his death in 420 that the holy cave was at one point consecrated by the heathen to the worship of Adonis, and that a pleasant sacred grove was planted there in order to wipe out the memory of Jesus. Although some modern scholars dispute this argument and insist that the cult of Adonis Tammuz originated the shrine and that it was the Christians who took it over, substituting the worship of Jesus. The antiquity of the association of the site with the birth of Jesus is attested by the Christian apologist Justin Martyr, who noted in his dialogue with Trypho that the Holy Family had taken refuge in a cave outside of town. Joseph took up his quarters in a certain cave near the village, and while they were there Mary brought forth the Christ and placed him in a manger, and here the Magi who came from Arabia found him. Additionally, the Greek philosopher Origen of Alexandria wrote, "In Bethlehem the cave is pointed out where he was born, and the manger in the cave where he was wrapped in swaddling clothes, and the rumor is in those places, and among foreigners of the faith, that indeed Jesus was born in this cave who is worshipped and reverenced by the Christians." 4th century basilica. The first basilica on this site was begun by Saint Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine I, under the supervision of Bishop Macarius of Jerusalem. The construction started in 327 and was completed in 333. Construction of this early church was carried out as part of a larger project following the First Council of Nicaea during Constantine's reign to build on the supposed sites of the life of Jesus. The design of the basilica centered around three major architectural sections: an octagonal rotunda over the area believed to be where Jesus of Nazareth was born, a boxed atrium area of 148 by 92 feet, and double-aisled forecourt of 95 by 93 feet. The structure was burnt down and destroyed in a revolt between the Jews and the Samaritans in 529 or 556. 6th century basilica. The current basilica was rebuilt in its present form in 565 by Byzantine Emperor Justinian I, when the Persians under Chosroes II invaded in 614. They did not destroy the structure. According to legend, the commander Shah-Baraz was moved by the depiction inside the Church of the Three Magi wearing Persian clothing, and commanded that the building be spared. The Crusaders made further repairs and additions to the building during the Latin Kingdom of Jerusalem, with permission and help given by the Byzantine Emperor, and the first king of Jerusalem was crowned in the church. Over the years, the compound has been expanded, and today it covers approximately 12,000 square meters. The theft in 1847 of the silver star marking the spot where Christ was born was one of the direct causes for French involvement in the Crimean War against Russia. 11th and 12th century additions and restoration. Until 1131, the Church of the Nativity was used as the primary coronation church for Crusader kings. During this time, extensive decoration by the Crusaders and various restorations of the basilica and grounds took place. This decoration and restoration process took place until 1169. 14th century roof restoration. The roof of the Church of the Nativity lay in poor condition after the desecration that occurred in April 1244 at the hands of the Khwarezmian Turks. In August 1448, the Duchy of Burgundy committed resources to the project, but it was not until 1480 that they were able to get the project underway in Bethlehem, due to this worsening condition of the wooden church roof. In 1480 an extensive roof reconstruction and renovation project took place on the Church of the Nativity. Multiple regions contributed supplies to have the church roof repaired, with England supplying the lead, the Second Kingdom of Burgundy supplying the wood, and the Republic of Venice providing the labour. 19th century damage, conflict, and administration between 1834 and 1837. Earthquakes and aftershocks in Bethlehem inflicted significant damage to the Church of the Nativity. The initial earthquake, the 1834 Jerusalem earthquake, damaged the church's bell tower, the furnishings of the cave on which the church is built, and other parts of its structure. Minor damages were further inflicted with a series of strong aftershocks in 1836 and with the Galilee earthquake of 1837 shortly thereafter. By 1846, the Church of the Nativity and its surrounding site lay in disrepair. The church's state had left the site vulnerable to looting. Much of the marble floors of the interior of the church were looted in the early half of the 19th century, and many were transferred to use in other buildings around the region, including to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. In that same year, the religiously significant silver star was stolen that had been displayed above the Grotto of the Nativity. In 1851, the Church of the Nativity was under the control of the Ottoman Empire, but near Christmas of 1852, Napoleon III sent his ambassador to the Ottoman Empire and forced the Ottomans to recognize France as the sovereign authority in the Holy Land, which the Latins had lost in the 18th century. The Sultan of Turkey replaced the silver star over the grotto with a Latin inscription, but the Russian Empire disputed the change in authority, citing two treaties, one from 1757 and the other from 1774, and deployed armies to the Danube area. As a result, the Ottomans issued firmans essentially reversing their earlier decision, renouncing the French treaty, and restoring the Greeks to the sovereign authority over the churches of the Holy Land for the time being. Since individual churches did not have a say in firmans, tensions arose at the local level. These, along with the theft of the Silver Star, helped to further fuel the debate between the Russian Empire and the Ottoman Empire over the occupation of holy sites around the region. This theft is often cited by scholars as one of the catalysts of the Crimean War. 20th century repair and restoration. 21st century siege of the church. In April 2002, during the Second Intifada, some 50 armed Palestinians wanted by the Israel Defense Forces locked themselves in the church with some 200 monks and other Palestinians who arrived at the site for different reasons, and were held as hostages by the gunmen. Because of the historic value of the building, the IDF did not break into the building, but instead prevented the entry of food. The siege lasted 39 days and some of the gunmen were shot by IDF snipers. After lengthy negotiations, it was agreed that the remaining gunmen would be evacuated to Gaza, Spain and Italy. The Siege is a Palestinian play developed and devised by the Freedom Theatre, which recounts the story. 2014 fire. Shortly after the 2014 visit to Israel of Pope Francis, the cave beneath the church caught on fire. Current administration. The church is administered jointly by Greek Orthodox, Roman Catholic and Armenian Apostolic authorities. All three traditions maintain monastic communities on the site. As a result, however, there have been repeated brawls among monk trainees over quiet respect for others' prayers, hymns and even the division of floor space for cleaning duties. The Palestinian police have been called to restore peace and order. Site architecture and layout. The structure of the site of the Church of the Nativity is a combination of two churches and a crypt beneath, the Grotto of the Nativity, where tradition states that Jesus of Nazareth was born. Basilica architecture. Original basilica design. Rebuilt basilica design. Site layout and architectural expansion. The main basilica of the Nativity is maintained by the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Jerusalem. It is designed like a typical Roman basilica, with 5 aisles and an apse in the eastern end, where the sanctuary is. The church features golden mosaics covering the side walls, which are now largely decayed. The basilica is entered through a very low door, called the Door of Humility. The original Roman-style floor has since been covered over, but there is a trapdoor in the modern floor which opens up to reveal a portion of the original mosaic pavement from the Constantinian basilia. The church also features a large gilded iconostasis, and a complex array of lamps throughout the entire building. The wooden rafters were donated by King Edward IV of England. The same king also donated lead to cover the roof. However, this lead was later taken by the Ottoman Turks, who melted it down for ammunition to use in war against Venice. Stairways on either side of the sanctuary lead down by winding stairs to the grotto. The adjoining Church of St. Catherine, the Roman Catholic Church, was built in a more modern Gothic Revival style, and has since been further modernized according to the liturgical trends which followed Vatican II. This is the church where the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem celebrates midnight mass on Christmas Eve. Certain customs still observed in this midnight mass predate Vatican II. The bas-relief of the Tree of Jesse is a large work by well-known religious sculptor Czeslaw Duzwigage, which was recently incorporated into the Church of St. Catherine as a gift of Pope Benedict XVI during his trip to the Holy Land in 2009, measuring in at 3.75 by 4 meters. Its corpus represents an olive tree figuring as the Tree of Jesse, displaying Christ's lineage from Abraham through St. Joseph along with other biblical motifs. Situated along the passage used by pilgrims making their way to the Grotto of the Nativity, the bas-relief also incorporates symbolism from the Old Testament. The upper portion is dominated by a crowned figure of Christ the King in an open-armed pose blessing the earth. The Grotto of the Nativity, an underground cave located beneath the basilica, enshrines the site where Jesus is said to have been born. The exact spot is marked beneath an altar by a 14-pointed silver star set into the marble floor and surrounded by silver lamps. This altar is denominationally neutral, although it features primarily Armenian apostolic influences. Another altar in the grotto, which is maintained by the Roman Catholics, marks the site where traditionally Mary laid the newborn baby in the manger. Numerous chapels are found in the compound as well, including the Chapel of St. Joseph, commemorating the angel's appearance to Joseph, commanding him to flee to Egypt, the Chapel of the Innocents, commemorating the children killed by Herod, and the Chapel of St. Jerome, where traditionally he translated the Bible into Latin. Manger Square, a large paved courtyard in front of the church, is the site where crowds gather on Christmas Eve to sing Christmas carols in anticipation of the midnight services. Preservation and related concerns. The basilica was placed on the 2008 watch list of the 100 most endangered sites by the World Monuments Fund. The present state of the church is worrying. Many roof timbers are rotting, and have not been replaced since the 19th century. The rainwater that seeps into the building not only accelerates the rotting of the wood and damages the structural integrity of the building, but also damages the 12th century wall mosaics and paintings. The influx of water also means that there is an ever-present chance of an electrical fire. If another earthquake were to occur on the scale of the one of 1834, the result would most likely be catastrophic. It is hoped that the listing will encourage its preservation, including getting the three custodians of the Church, the Greek Orthodox Church, the Armenian Orthodox Church, and the Franciscan Order, to work together, which has not happened for hundreds of years. The Israeli government and the Palestinian Authority would also have to work together to protect it. In 2010, the Palestinian Authority announced that a multi-million-dollar restoration program was imminent. World Heritage Site in 2012, the church complex became the first Palestinian site to be listed as a World Heritage Site by the World Heritage Committee at its 36th session on 29 June. It was approved by a secret vote of 13-6 in the 21-member committee, according to UNESCO spokeswoman Sue Williams, and following an emergency candidacy procedure that bypassed the 18-month process for most sites. Despite the opposition of the United States and Israel, the site was approved under criteria 4 and 6. The decision was a controversial one on both technical and political terms. It has also been placed on the list of World Heritage and danger as it is suffering from damages due to water leaks. Burials. St. Paula, beneath the church. Gallery. Icon of Mary and Jesus inside the church. Constantine's 4th century mosaic floor rediscovered in 1934. The Door of Humility, main entrance into the church. This 14-point silver star, beneath the altar in the Grotto of the Nativity, marks the traditional spot believed to be the birthplace of Jesus Christ by the Blessed Virgin Mary. The altar of the Nativity, beneath which is the star marking the spot where tradition says the Virgin Mary gave birth to Jesus. Christmas Eve 2006 in Manger Square. The upper part of the altar of the Nativity. Silver star marking the place where Jesus was born according to Christian tradition.